Hello and welcome to another video or episode, depending on whether you are watching or listening, of course. So the thing I've been thinking about at the moment is progression of the learners through the systems I create. So as many of you will know, one of my core tenets is to begin with the end in mind. So decide what your program hopes to deliver, the outcomes and everything, before you start it. You decide what goals and outcomes you want from the session before you plan it. But then as we go out even further, go, okay, what am I hoping to achieve with the people that move through my system? Because at the moment I work with children from 5 to roughly 14. Where I'm actually starting to get progression all the way through. So there are children that I worked with 6-7 years ago that are now in the upper part of that bracket, and then there are some that over the last 2 years have moved from the forest schools at the beginning to the forest school and Bushcraft and will likely be moving on to Bushcraft, just Bushcraft sessions for the teens later on. So they're moving through the system, and once you've kind of had people working through, they've already been out here, they've already experienced the woodland, and they've started to gain that connection. So you're like, okay, good, box ticked. They're starting to get comfortable with skills, with all the bushcraft skills, which is for me a really good sign. And something that I'm actively working towards, because I want people to be confident and competent in nature. And we can see that they're starting to develop those interpersonal relationships, they're starting to communicate better, they're going through all of those soft skills. But then the question is, okay, once they've been in my session long enough, where do they move on to next? Is bushcraft just the end? And so I've started designing things in. Some of them has been prompted by my own thinking, some of them has been prompted by the children themselves coming forward. So one of those is that I'd like to design an apprenticeship program, because I know there's a couple of kids that I work with that are getting towards those teenage years, and they could well be making their own mark on the industry and the outdoors. So I feel like if I can help them on that path, and maybe get some help as well with running sessions, then I can start developing kind of the leaders of tomorrow, as cliche as it sounds. And there's other children that, yes, they're probably older, they need to be for the forest school sessions, but maybe they can come back in as helpers. And one of my children from the forest school session approached me and asked whether she could become a helper for forest school, and I thought that was amazing that she came forward with that, and I'm hoping that works out really well, and it's a chance for her to put her skills into practice. Say there's different tiers of learning. There's learning through being taught something. There's learning through actively experiencing yourself, and then the highest form of learning is when you teach others, because you've really got to know what you're talking about when you hit that. So that's kind of looking at that progression. Okay, I'm not just talking about outdoor skills now. That the people that I want to have at the end, the competent adults that I'm building, I want them to have success in their life, not just because of their connection to the outdoors. Don't just to be mentally healthy or confident and competent. I actually want to go beyond that and see whether I can help them move forward into life positively. And that's also where a lot of my thinking around my new CIC Ember Path has come from. It's this idea that I'd like to work with adults. I'd like to help people find their purpose and be guidance for others, young and old, in ways that I didn't have growing up. That kind of those kind of slow building up to a skill set, to a disposition to be able to thrive in the world we have. So that, anyway, that's my thoughts, like, on progression through forestry bushcraft. I think we should be looking at what point we want the people at the end of the sessions to arrive with. I mean, at the moment forest school is mostly consigned to the early years, with some forays into kind of like primary age, and then it kind of disappears after that. And I'm a big believer in bringing those bushcraft skills in to really encourage and enthuse the older children, but I don't think we're giving enough thought to what happens after that. What is their progression? Can we help them progress into instructors so that they have a good side of being a hustle, that they can continue being outside? Is there a way we can support them in moving forward and integrating the outdoors into their everyday life? I hope that got you thinking as much as it has done me. I'm still chewing over a lot of things there, but it's an interesting time, and it's a really nice place to be, that I can start thinking about, in some ways, almost that legacy. Anyways, I think I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching and continuing to listen. Like 100 episodes. If no one listened, then I don't know whether I'd consider doing it, but it's good. It feels good to reach a big number. Obviously we've hit over that in videos, but I'll continue putting them out as long as people continue listening and finding value. With that, I'll say thank you. Remember to make the most of every day, and I'll see you all next time.